So the group stage of the 2019 Total African Cup of Nations are winding down. We saw Group A finishing, Group B already done, and today Group C and D ended. So right now we know for sure 8 teams that will move on to the round of 16. And there's also a few third place teams who are very sure of their place in the next round. In today's video, I like to discuss the final fixtures from Group C and Group D. I got to see 2 matches today, so at least that's better than yesterday, where I only got to see the Nigeria versus Madagascar game. The first game I saw was a South Africa versus Morocco fixture in which Morocco defeated South Africa 1-0. The other group game between Namibia and Ivory Coast finishing a 4-1 win for the Elephants. I even saw some of those highlights while the game between South Africa and Morocco was going on. So I did get to see the goals. For the fixtures in Group C, I got to see the one between Senegal and Kenya, in which Senegal defeated Kenya 3-0, and the one between Tanzania and Algeria, which also ended 3-0 in favor of the Foxes, was also showing highlights of the goals while the other match was going on. So I did get to see what was going on in every single one of these 4 games. So let's talk briefly about all 4 fixtures. For the South Africa versus Morocco game, that was a well-fought battle by South Africa until they succumbed to a late goal. I think South Africa played very well in this game. They defended well, they grinded in the midfield, and going forward, they were threatening. Especially my man Percy Tau. He looked really good in this game once more. The young fullbacks Mazrui and Hakimi was really good in the game for Morocco, with Hakimi even rattling the woodwork just after the 1-hour mark. Ziyech was good and Nesri was lively once again. Amrabat and Belanda looked very dangerous. Both managers did make quite a few changes to their 11s as well. And when it looked like South Africa was going to go on to hold on for a draw and pick up that important 1 point, which would have given them 4 points and definitely sealed a place in the round of 16, they succumbed to a late 90-minute goal. It was from a set piece, the ball wasn't dealt with, it fell nicely to Basufa, who dispatched it beautifully, and I love the way he lofted it into the back of the net. Most players, they get a shot off, but it's low and it has to go through bodies, and most of the time it doesn't pass. So I love the way he executed that shot, and he picked up the winner for Morocco to give them a perfect 9 points in the group. But South Africa will be feeling really hard done by that loss because they did not play too bad in this game at all. But Hervé Renard will be fancying his chances with this Moroccan team to go on to lift his 3rd African Cup of Nations title. Remember, he did it with Zambia and he also did it with the Ivory Coast. But for Stuart Baxter and his boys, they will have to wait until the final matches are played tomorrow to see if they make it as one of the best 3rd place teams. As for stats in the game, South Africa could only muster up 2 shots at goal, so they were parking the bus for most of the game. They had no shots on target, 40% of the possession, 314 passes with a 71% pass accuracy. They committed 21 fouls, picked up 2 yellows. As for Morocco, they had 11 shots at goal, 3 on target, 60% of the possession, 447 passes with a 78% pass accuracy. They committed only 12 fouls. So after putting on such a good defensive showing, South Africa leaked a goal in the end. And as I said before, it only takes 1 second to lose the game. So don't switch off. If they were marking Basufa, they could have picked up the 1 point. In the other group, the fixtures between the Warriors of Namibia and the Elephants of the Ivory Coast defeated Namibia 4-1. This was courtesy of goals by Max Gradel, Seridia, Wilfried Zaha, and Maxwell Carney. Kamatuka did pull one back for Namibia. This was a really good performance by Ivory Coast, and I think if they continue playing like this, they would be one of the favorites to go on to win the tournament for sure. This is the Ivory Coast that people want to see play. So with this big 3 points, they will move on to the round of 16 as 2nd place team in the group. As for Namibia, they're out of the tournament. As for stats in the game, Namibia had 11 shots at goal with 4 on target, 59% of the possession. That is shocking. 458 passes with an 84% pass accuracy, 18 fouls, picking up 1 yellow. For Ivory Coast, they had 16 shots at goal though, 8 on target, 41% of the possession, 327 passes with a 78% pass accuracy. They picked up 18 fouls and no yellows. They were way more clinical in the game than the Warriors. Hence the reason why they came out 4-1 victors. So that's definitely a better showing than they put on against Morocco. In the final Group C fixture between the Taifa Stars of Tanzania and the Desert Foxes of Algeria, the Foxes came out 3-0 winners. It was a routine 3-0 victory in the end. We had goals by Islam Slimani and the brace by the youngster Unas. With this win, Algeria tops the group with a perfect 9 points. Tanzania, they go home, knocked out of the tournament without a single point. As for stats in the game, Tanzania had 9 shots at goal with 1 on target, 43% of the possession, 336 passes with a 73% pass accuracy. They committed 8 fouls and picked up 1 yellow. As for Algeria, they had 18 shots at goal with 6 on target, 57% of the possession, 436 passes with an 84% pass accuracy. They committed 25 fouls and picked up 2 yellows. And last but not least, the final game between Kenya and Senegal. It started out really well for Kenya, but in the end, they crumbled to a 3-0 loss. For the first 28 minutes of the game, Kenya were putting on a really good rearguard action. Niang had a really good chance, which was saved by the goalkeeper. Ghana had a few chances as well, but none of them ended up in the back of the net. And then around the 28 minutes, Sis was tripped up by Mohamed in the box and the referee pointed to the spot. Up stepped Sadio Mane and his penalty was beautifully saved by the Kenyan keeper. And I don't think that was a penalty though. I think Sis embellished that foul and tricked the referee into pointing to the spot. If VAR was used in the group phase, it would have been overturned. You could see that he sold it very well. I might be wrong though, but this is only my opinion. And the fact that Sadio Mane did not put away that penalty, I think it was justice for Kenya. Justice, poetic justice. Before the halftime break, Ismail Assar had a really good shot saved by the goalkeeper once again. So the Kenyan keeper were keeping them in the game. Senegal continued to press and they continued to search for that opening goal because they weren't in a good position at all, having won one and lost one, and they did not want to lose this game to risk getting knocked out of the tournament early. It would have been disaster for Aliou Cissé's men, but their first goal came in the 63rd minute via a spectacular volley by Ismail Assar. He always scores these beautiful goals, man. And if you don't believe me, just search him on YouTube and you will see what I'm talking about. So with Sarr scoring in the 63rd minute, the floodgates began to open as Sadio Mane scored in the 71st. It was a long ball that wasn't dealt with properly by Mohamed. Mane got in behind and he scored. 2-0 to Senegal. The Kenyan defense was suffering a meltdown. A few minutes later, Otieno foolishly brought down Sarr in the box. That was a rash tackle. The referee pointed to the spot. He picked up a second yellow and he got sent off. So Kenya were down to 10 men. Up stepped Sadio Mane again to redeem himself after missing that earlier penalty, and he scored to complete a brace. Senegal 3, Kenya 0. Being desperate to at least pick up a goal in this game, Kenya almost scored when Ulungu's shot was saved by Gomis. They also had a header that was put wide. And the reason why they were still desperately trying to score is because it comes down to goals if you are tied on points to determine who are the best third place teams. So Senegal picked up a big and well-deserved 3 points to go second in the group. So after those final group fixtures, Algeria tops Group C with 9 points, Senegal second with 6 points, Kenya third with 3, and Tanzania at the bottom without a point. So Kenya has to wait for the Group E and F fixtures to see if they are one of the best third place teams. As for Group D, Morocco tops the group with 9 points. Ivory Coast second with 6. South Africa third with 3. They also have to wait for tomorrow's games to determine if they are one of the best third place teams. And Namibia at the bottom without a point. So in this video, I'm not really gonna get into who each team will play in the round of 16. I'll save that for a designated round of 16 video. So the group stage will wrap up tomorrow and then we will move on to the knockout phase. So with Algeria, Senegal, Morocco and Ivory Coast going through, with Kenya and South Africa barely hanging on by a thread. Namibia and Tanzania knocked out of the competition. Guys, the African Cup of Nations has been awesome so far. And if you're new around here, consider hitting the subscribe button, smash the thumbs up button, and in the comment section down below, let me know who you think are your favorite teams to go on to win the tournament. So guys, I'm your boy Dominic Rich, and until next time, I like to say thanks for watching. Peace out. Rich Squad.